take back your music and do whatever you want with it. But sometimes, especially if there have been a hard relation and they part in a tough way, in a hard way, the production said, okay, we pay you for the music.
Go away.
Go. Let's say go yourself. Okay, go after yourself. Okay.
I will fall in love with my own music. That's my problem. When you say at the beginning, the first thing you learn is not to fall in love. I will fall in love with my own music. That's my problem.
Yeah, you know what happened in my very last, my various movie. I did a movie, a thriller, which was released last month here in Italy. It's called Io sono l'abisso, directed by Donato Carrisi. And we started in this way. We started with the normal concept. When you start a new project, you do what we call the concept of the soundtrack. So you think, okay, these are the themes, or these are the sounds that I want. These are the instruments that I want. These are the feelings that I want to transmit, or you do the concept. Okay, this can be the first theme. You can do it this way in this point, and then they can be changed into this one, and do the concept. The point, for example, I did the concept as I do every time I score a new movie. But in the end, the final result was completely another thing, and we arrived to give up the main theme that actually was absolutely working. Even the director liked that theme, and then I thought, and I still think, that it was one of my best theme ever. Wow. But actually, since we started to take off the music from the movie. Okay, in this scene, let's not put any music in this scene. But since we do not put here, we cannot put here too, because the two scenes are tied. Okay, so no more music even in the second scene. And so let's take it off from here. At least there was no room for that theme, and so we decided to give up the whole theme. And actually it was strange, because in 2 hours and 6 minutes or something like that, I put 12 minutes of music. So very, very, very few music made by 3 instruments. So no more orchestra, no more electronics, no more nothing, only piano, cello and viola. And a song, and a pop rap song that I wrote with Fabrizio Campanelli, that actually was your guest few time ago. And so it happens. That's why I say you can't fall in love with your ideas, because otherwise it's incredibly painful to give up. So this is perfect. It's perfect movie, the theme, but you got to be prepared to
rejection.
Yeah. Yes. The word rejection generally means that the director or the editor or the producer rejected what you propose. But in this case, actually, it was not a rejection. It was that we watched it in our eyes with the director, and we said, okay, let's do this. Which is different. It's a different choice. It's a very hard choice. Can also be a risky choice, but let's try.
What? Got it. What's important, in your opinion, the role of a film, the soundtrack, right? The film score in a movie. I mean, a movie can be a terrible movie with a good director, a bad director, a good movie, a bad movie, a good, great movie. And the music, I suppose, can save, so to speak, a particular scene or 2 minutes of a movie. But if the movie is bad or the director is bad, you're limited in what you can do, right? You can a movie, a soundtrack save a movie? What do you think that people, when they go, when you go, you are different, right? Because you are you study stuff, but an average person walking down the street, right? We go, all of them, we pick 50 people out of the audience, or walking down the street in Milan. Okay, I want to give you a two ticket. You. Okay, let's go and see a movie. We'll give you a beer, popcorn, everything, and see the movie for the next 2 hours with great music. Do you think that people really put attention to the music?
No, they definitely they don't.
They don't.
No, they don't. But it's normal this way. This is music for images. It's called music for images.
Correct. Yeah.
If you want the audience to listen to your music, this is the wrong job. You have to write concert music or symphonies or pop music or whatever, or jazz or whatever. You got to be prepared that the most part of people does not listen to the soundtrack. But what those 50 guys don't know is that if they did like the film, or if they didn't, the good part is because of the music, because the music suggests what's not on the screen. It's funny because during the master classes that I spoke before about, I do this experiment. I take some very famous movie, let's say Shining with Jack Nicholson, for example, and which is an extremely dramatic movie, and I put down funny music, and it's incredible how you can on the same scene, with the same dialogues, with the same shooting, with the same actors, with the same everything, that can be turned a dramatic movie into a comedy. Of course, it depends from which part of the movie it is. If something that stab you in the back, you can't put it in a comedy. But music got this power. And also sometimes I do the opposite. I take a comedy, I take some dramatic music, and immediately that movies turns into a dramatic movie. And
Wow.
For example, I remember I did this experiment with Mrs. Doubtfire with Robin Williams. Do you remember the movie? When Like a war? Okay. Yeah. And we take parts of this movie, and we put some horror music below. And it was turned, for example, the scene when he was looking his wife and the other guy from upstairs. With an horror music below, make you think that he's thinking something of killing them or killing the guy or whatever else. Even some very funny scene. Remember when he was in the fridge and he took off the face with the cream in his own face.
That's right.
And even, which was very funny. But if you put an horror and dramatic music outside, that music comes incredible dramatic. And so that's the destiny of a composer. Only a part of the audience listen to our music, except if the music is very, very important in the music, not only in a musical, but of course also for example, I think of many times of the spaghetti western or many other, or for example, think of Star Wars. Can you imagine Star Wars without John Williams music, without that music, without that presence of the music? That's a music that the audience absolutely must listen, even if they're not willing to.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. You mentioned The Shining, and it's a great movie, and the score. See, the director ended up, I don't know if it was the director or the filmmaker, but they started with some music. The director didn't like it. Then they went to Wendy Carlos when Di Carlo composed like 3 or 4 tracks. There is some track online of some movie that we used, and then another person end up selecting a different music, and so it from what the original music to the second, to the third, to the fourth. In some cases, you know, the same with the Exorcist. The first director rated, they hire, I don't know if it was Lalo Schifrin in Argentina or
The very first one was Bernard Herrmann. The second was Lalo Schifrin.
Lalo Schifrin, yeah. They didn't like it, and the directors here, Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells, and they say, "Man, that's exactly what I'm looking for."
Yeah. Yes, but this was because the director William Friedkin wanted a soundtrack very subtle, very soft. He did not want at all a huge bombastic music, while Herman and Schifrin as well, they got in their mind something very traditional, you see. And even without doing any comparison, but even in The Exorcist, with last 2 hours and 10 or whatever, there are 17 minutes of music, only 17.
My God!
And Tubular Bells is maybe 3 minutes of those 17 music. So actually, there's no music in all the most important scene of that music, which is actually with the visual impact so strong, especially for at those times. There's no music. The music only takes the transition from a scene to from an important scene to another important scene. The transition is made by music, not the music in important scene, which actually was a revolutionary use of the music.
Yeah. It's amazing. And I think I end up, if I remember correctly, they end up using for The Shining Penderecki, I think you remember correctly, which is unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right. So let's go back to your stuff. How you end up composing music from Into the Labyrinth? How you got involved into that particular project, which is a very good movie and very good music, actually. So.
Thank you so much. This was the previous movie that I did with Donato Carrisi after the last one I told you before, and it was made in 2019, so 3 years ago, and was a huge project with starring Tony Servillo and Dustin Hoffman. And what that was, I was involved because I do music with Donato Carrisi since we were boys. We started together in the same theater, and so we then we did television, musical songs, radio, and eventually movies, cinema movies, and that was let's say a more traditional soundtrack. That's what I told before, and it was made with a huge orchestra of more than 70 musicians, and it's 86 minutes of soundtrack. So very the music it's always in the movie. The movies last 2 hours, and you have more than 1 hour and a half with music. So actually, in the whole movie there's music, and that was could be a paradox, but was more easy doing 86 minutes of full orchestral music than doing the 12 minutes of 3 instruments that I did in my very soundtrack. It was easy because we perfectly were aware of what we wanted before shooting the film, and so in this case I read the script, and Donato got in his own mind a very clear idea of what was the role of music, because actually that's what you have the most difficult thing that you have to deal with when you have to deal with the director is okay, what do you want me to do? What do you want the music is for? What music is for in this movie? Because there are so many different use of music in the same scene. I remember that Ennio Morricone used to be in a panel in several competition for music film, but he did that only for a few times. Then he gave up because he said, I saw the same scene scored by 10 different musicians, 10 different composers, and there are all of them were good for that scene. It was really impossible saying this is correct, this is not correct, because it depends from what the director got in his own mind. That's the more difficult part of our job probably is being able to read the director's mind, which is actually not easy at all. Not easy at all because since the director is almost never a musician, it's difficult for him to explain something that then you have to translate into notes or into chords. Yes, there are some how do you say some stereotypes that you can use in film music. Okay, you got a danger, you put very basses and cellos with the lower string, or you got something funny, you say pa, 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 pa. But these are stereotypes. It can work. But certainly it's not the best use for film music. Mainly, that's why it's crucial. It's vital that you ask to the director, what do you want music expressed in this scene? Sometimes the director, do what you feel. Wrong answer. I always say, Buzz, wrong answer because if you say to me, do whatever you feel, I'll do that, but I won't accept any critic or any changes of the music. If you ask me what I feel like that. Otherwise, you tell me what you want me to do. And because they always do whatever you want. You do whatever you want, and so no, it's not what I want. It's not what you want. It's what I want. That's right. That's what you ask me.
Very
difficult. Very difficult.
And then from a consumer, so I don't compare music, but I like the movie, and like I always do, I buy the CD, right, or the vinyl, right, and many times, well, maybe the majority of the time, you end up, let's say, you compose 2 hours of music, right? From there, only perhaps 40 minutes at the most are those 2 hours, that music that went into the film. And then when I buy the CD, a month later, somebody selected, well, we like this part, we don't like that part, we don't like that part. What's the process? Who ended up deciding what from the 2 hours that you composed to the 45 minutes that was used to the 38 minutes that was in the CD? What happened? Why? All right.
So until let's say 10, 15 years ago, the process was this. It was the label who published the CD decided sometimes without even asking to the composer, we do this track, this not this. Yeah. Why they do this way? Because they already knew that after, especially if it was a success movie, that after 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, they would have been released the complete recording version. So it was a marketing reason. So we give you the basic, the most important music, but especially for collectors, we are going to do a new release in whatever 1 year or whatever. and this was a marketing decision. Nowadays, probably the composer got is more involved in this process.
Yeah.
Because sometimes some pieces are useless, are very useful in the movie. They perfectly serve the scene, but they are useless for being listened. Especially for some atmosphere music with not a particular theme or particular sound. You see that music and it perfectly fits on the screen, but it's useless for being listened. And so nowadays the composer is more involved in this process, and it's a good thing. And that's why when I do a CD release, I always say, okay, this guy. I always let's say I always agree with the label, but generally the label makes me choose whatever I want without even because they perfectly know that if there's some piece of music that I think that it's good it's good piece of music, it's going to be released into the CD because nowadays it's difficult that we say, okay, in 5 years we're going to do the complete recording release. It's difficult. Today it's difficult having also the very first release of the CD. I always, maybe I'm lucky, I always do, or almost always do a physical release of the soundtracks, because there is a collector's market, which is actually one of the most important part of the market today, because we know after the day the movie released, you got the soundtrack on Spotify or on Apple Music or Amazon or whatever. What makes the label survive is the release of the physical CD or sometimes the vinyl or it's especially for collectors.
It's me included, right? I buy, like I told you before, I buy a lot of music. I mean, a lot. Every week I get a package delivered. My wife complained what I want to do with all the music, but that's different.
You need a brand new house.
Yeah, and I have, man, if we were to look around, I have stuff everywhere. But I need like a castle. I need like a palace to put all my music. But there's on the other hand, I have seen great movies, science fiction, horror, soundtrack, that the music was never released, and I wonder why. I remember sending letter to Bare Saraban. You did this, before they release stuff, or some of the record major label, a movie from the 85, 87, 88, and sending a letter at the time, or nowadays a computer, an email. Why? This is a great movie, or it's okay movie. It's not that great. The music is very good.
And you want to know why
they don't release that? I want to buy the CD. Why?
I'll tell you why.
For the vinyl.
When a soundtrack is not released, it's the main problem is always a copyright problem. Let's say that nowadays it's not that strange that the soundtracks is not released, especially on physical support. It's certainly almost always released on Spotify. But for example, not always, because I was talking with a friend of mine, composer Giuliano Taviani, which scored a series that in Italy had a huge success in the last 10 years. It's called Boris. And now they did the fourth season of this series, made by Disney Plus, so a big production, and they decided not to release the soundtrack. And when the composer said, "Okay, you're not going to release the soundtrack, allow me to do that," you just need to sign, and I'll take care of the release on Spotify. We're talking on virtual release, not on physical release. And they said, no, we're not interested. We can't lose any time. So the point is that nowadays it can happen. Okay, yeah. When in the old days, when I mean the old day, when I say the old days, I mean from 15 years ago until the Lumiere brothers. If soundtracks of a movie which had a good success was not released, there are always problems of copyrights and of rights. That's the only reason, because it's a loss of money. So no one likes losing any money.
Yeah, but why would be copyright if the in your case you got already pay? A director or a producer pay you X number of dollars.
Sometimes there are trials problem. For example, I do a soundtrack, but Claudio comes out and, hey guys, no, he stole my his music from me, and so we gotta go have a trial. So in this case, the label says, okay, guys, I don't want to do any problem. We're not going. Not release this soundtrack. This one thing that can happen. Or sometimes, for example, the one piece is chosen for the soundtrack. In the year, that main publishers they do sell and they do buy part of the catalogs. For example. Let's say, for example, that one huge publisher sells to another publisher the Morricone music, the entire catalog. And, for example, there is this particular piece of Morricone made in that soundtracks. So the label must ask to the new publisher, do you allow me to publish this piece of Morricone? And the publisher could say, yes, we allow you, but we want X. And the label say, no, we can't pay X. And say, okay, you're not publishing the piece then. That's why sometimes they do not publish the soundtracks.
Man, now I'm glad that I'm talking to you, because now understanding the whole process behind the scene is crazy, and how the stuff work behind the scene. Feel free to elaborate in The Girl in the Fog, how that came together.
Oh, that was another movie that gave me so satisfaction, because together with Into the Labyrinth, it was released worldwide. More than 60 countries in the world. So it gives me so much satisfaction, and was also a huge box office success in 2017. It was the very first movie that I made with Donato Carrisi. So we got this trilogy actually, and starring Tony Servillo and Jean Reno, which was a very nice person to meet. Dustin Hoffman as well. But Jean Reno was incredible because, for example, I went to see some shooting some days, because to have some idea in my mind of what could be the right music for some scene. And the funny way I was in front of Jean Reno, who was an idol, because for me, in my when I was a boy, I saw all his movies, especially I don't know if they are the same titles in English. It was Nikita or Leon or whatever, Le Grand Bleu, the song. And it's wonderful when you see such an idol, which is a wonderful person. When for example, when we went to the catering for lunch, he was with us waiting for him to be served, and so he was sitting with us, telling jokes and talking about his life, and it was an amazing experience. And this was the case that, for example, the soundtrack was released, but only on Spotify not in physical, but they are going to release it now because I just signed with the label to publish the Girl in the Fog soundtrack, which is going to be released, I think, in the very beginning of 2023. So it's really a pleasure for me because even if nowadays we got music on Spotify and whatever, it's having something physical, something that you can hold in your hands. You can smell, you can open, you can read. Even if probably the funny thing that I went to a meeting with a publisher who asked me to publish some of my music, and I went to this meeting. We talked, and in the end, I gave to her a CD of Into the Labyrinth, and she went, "Oh, so kind of you. I do not have any CD player, but thank you so much."
That's crazy.
And I said, okay, no problem. You can get it on Spotify as well. But this is a gift. This is an object that you can hold in your hands. If you like, throw it away.
Yeah, of course. I like I told you before.
It's crucial because this publisher, which is she's let's say 35 years old. So okay. So not old, not a boy, 35 years old, and she got no
CD player.
CD player.
That's crazy. I mean, I need to touch stuff. I don't want to see a movie of Da Vinci. I want to go to Rome, see all the statues. I don't want to, unless I was poor, right, to read the PDF. No, I want to open Czech, but I want to look the book and turn the pages. Every time that I buy a vinyl, which I buy, I don't know, between vinyls, a CD, Blu-ray, I get, 20 or 30 a week. So I like to open it up, look at the picture, look at the text, who is the director, search in Facebook or send an email.
Perfectly agree.
Yeah, I don't want a recipe about Italian food. I want to make. I want to taste the stuff.
The comparison is good. The
right?
comparison is good.
Are two different worlds. It's kind of crazy that people that can live like that without doing like that. When conducting our film score, you like to listen to somebody else's music? Like, for example, right, so many musicians I interview, they say, no, I don't want to listen to Peter Gabriel or Pink Floyd or Led Zeppelin or Coldplay or Depeche Mode because might influence me when I'm writing on the piano next week or the week after. Do you like to listen to other composers well or no?
So now I'm going to tell you the truth, not only for me, but the real truth.
The real truth, right?
The real truth. The real truth is that when we do score a new movie, the editor put into the movie what we call temporary tracks. And for example, they choose the music of Hans Zimmer or whoever else to score this scene, so they can give you the mood that they're going to look. And so when my colleagues say I never listen to anybody else music, I don't think that they are completely true. But sometimes it can happen, of course. But generally speaking, it's different that you have a movie with the first editing version that without any temp tracks, and so it's So I remember that I read an interview of come on, I'm going to forget, but very important composer. Nightmare Before Christmas, the composer of Nightmare Before Christmas.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. Doesn't matter. And he said, my job is to make the director forget the temporary music, because when the director and the editor has seen that scene many times with that music, the music sticks to the image. And so if you do something completely different, they're going with something stage. No, it doesn't fit to image. No, the point is not that it doesn't fit to image. The point that you got in your mind that track. And so, to be honest with you, yes, I do listen to other composers. I do listen to trumpet music. Of course, that can be useful to have a general mood of what they expect you to do, because as I told you before, you can score the same scene in 10 different ways, and each of them are correct.
Yeah.
Point is that which one of them fits into the director's and the editor's mind. That's the point.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. Looking back in your career, any director, dead or alive, that you wish you have the opportunity to work? If God exists and give you the wish.
The funny thing is that my favorite directors are Scorsese. You say Scorsese, but we say Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, of course. And the funny thing is that these are my actually favorite directors. And the funny thing is that generally they do not use any original soundtracks. Because generally in their movies they use songs and that's it. So of course I would have liked to work with Spielberg, which I love so much, the music. The point is that what I always ask to myself is, okay, I do so much love Spielberg's movies. But probably one of the reason I do love them is that they have that music. So how can you conceive that moves without that music? It's impossible.
Probably not, right? Maybe it was right. It's difficult to differentiate the film score, the editing, the movie are three different things, right? You can like one or the other, and perhaps decide, maybe you like the soundtrack more than you like the movie. If the movie had a different film score, maybe you wouldn't like that movie that much, because you end up liking the movie. You end up liking if you go to an island with your wife for vacation and you can pick three soundtrack, three film score, somebody give it to you. Which are of course, not the movie that you have done, but
okay.
Everybody, anybody in the world.
So first of all, I was healed. Was Danny Elfman the composer of Nightmare?
Danny Elfman, yeah.
Wow. Let's say The Mission, Morricone.
Oh wow, yeah.
Let's say The Village, James Newton Howard.
Yeah.
And something from John Williams, probably Jaws, probably.
Really?
Jaws.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Just like it's a game, and I accept the rule. But it's possible. It would be hard for me choosing only 100. You asked me for 3, so.
Yeah, it kind of, I don't know. I mean, for me, I like so many, but it's like which concert. My wife asked me what the best concert I've seen is. They're different. I mean, I see close to 40 or 50 shows a year here, so it's impossible to pick one. I like different bands and different film scores for different reasons. It's like people say, what kind of food do you like? Well, I like Italian food, this type of stuff. I like Japanese food. I like Latin food. I like Thai food. Are different. It's not the same thing.
Why picking only one? Why?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
pick all of them. Maybe not together.
Yeah, I mean, for music, probably because I don't know the Exorcist. I mean, I have seen that movie, The Exorcist, like 20 times. I know the script inside out. I know exactly what each will say. I know the music very well. I have like a lot of different versions from that movie director card, some fake stuff, some stuff that Wendy Carlo did and so forth, or somebody else copied the stuff, and that movie, also The Shining, that it they freak me out, and I know exactly the movie, what it's about, and also and with The Exorcist, I get scared all the time, man.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise anymore to me. I mean, I get into the movie and I freak out, and I know exactly what's going to happen.
Still today, after so many times you saw
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Wonderful.
And,
so it means the director made a good job.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick was a crazy guy, but was a very good guy. Of course, The Shining, but too many to mention that kind of stuff. And what are you working nowadays? What is on your plate now?
What's coming up? In my plane, I'm leaving in a few days for Paris, where I got at the Radio France Auditorium a huge concert with Gilberto Gil. And
wow.
Yes, because I worked with him in the past several times as an arranger, and I went with him in a European tour in 2017, I guess. And we are going to have this opera that he wrote in Paris on December the 2nd, and so we are preparing for that important first night, and with a huge orchestra and huge choir, and so it's a big project. So the very first project I have.
Good for you, man. Well, that's the last question I have. It was very nice talking to you, Vito. And I'm going to be in Italy 2 or 3 times next year. So let's try to get together, arrange a meeting, and I would like to take you to dinner.
Be my guest. You got my email and my
okay. And then definitely I want to get some physical CDs from you. You can sign and everything.
Absolutely, it would be a pleasure.
Was very nice talking to you, Vito. You're a very good person.
My pleasure.
Great musician. So. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.